Yeah, I want to talk about the truth about cheap land in Ekpe, in Ibeju-lekki, or any part of Lagos. I want to talk about the truth about cheap lands, what you need to know about buying cheap property so that you be aware of it, so that you will not enter the wrong hands. So I just want to expose the major truths which I believe you may not find easily. And the average person out, the average seller out there who want to just tell you, come and buy, without telling you the truth. So if you watch to the end, you will learn this truth. And if you decide to buy cheap land, then no problem with that. Um, but at least you know the truth. You know the risks involved. You know what it takes or what you need to know. So I will proceed. Don't leave this page. I want you to follow me to the end, and I have a special gift for you if you stay to the end of this video. Because and also this information will help you also prevent you from entering into wrong hands. So what is this cheap property? What is all this cheap property and thereabout? But if I want to talk about the cheap property, let me even give you some basic things you have to put in mind when you want to buy any property, whether cheap or thereabout. But I'll just have this in mind. For a property, for you to have good return in property, there are some basic things which you need to put in mind. And this principle, I call it the C plan principle. I call it the C plan principle, which is the CPEL, which the first C there stand for commerce. Any location you want to buy property, you should consider the commerce in that axis because it will affect the price of the property in that axis. Then also the P there stands for population. The population is people in that axis. Property has to do with people because land don't just appreciate. These people that make land appreciate. When there are people around the axis, the land tend to appreciate. People who want to build, people want to. If you, a land in the desert will not make any impact if it's not being used. So people is very important. That is population. Then number three, when you're buying property, you consider the employment in that houses. Um, are there industries there? Um, are people there? Are they employed? What is their income lifestyle like? Which leads me to the fourth thing, which is lifestyle. The lifestyle in that houses, when it comes to what kind of um, recreation activities in that houses, what kind of things um, you can find, what kind of infrastructure you can find that houses, lifestyle, how the people around that houses, how do they, what is the lifestyle like? Are they low income? Are they high income? So it all depends. So I guess let me just chip in that. That is what I just shared with you is strategy on how you can actually um, what you should follow if you are buying a property. But that is a whole topic on its own. I just let me just chip in that. But our topic today is on cheap property. Cheap property. When it comes to buying cheap property, there are a couple of factors you have to consider. Let me start from the first one. Buying property in an undeveloped area or developing area. Before you can see a property that is cheap, the area might be undeveloped or uh, the the area is still trying to develop. So that is where you go to see property that is very very affordable. And getting a property that is cheap in Ibeju-lekki, currently you can see you get property for 800,000. You can see get for 1 million naira in Ibeju-lekki. In Ekpe, you can still get property for that same range too, depending on how inside it is. So when a property when a particular area is still developing or is underdeveloped, you tend to get cheap properties in the houses. And when development have not gone to that houses, you can get cheap properties. So in that houses, which is the underdeveloped or developing area. And there are a couple of those kind of area around Ibeju-lekki. Some part of the Ibeju-lekki has developed, and some part is still underdeveloped. So you can still see property in Ibeju-lekki for 800, for 900, 1 million. In the pay, you can still see in that range too. Then some part of Ikorodu, you can still see some part of Mowe, you can still see in that those relatively you call it cheap properties, but that is that area that is still underdeveloped. Let me make reference to number two, the title. The title also, the title is also another thing that also make property to be cheap. If a property have just survey or don't even have any title on it, definitely that property will be cheap. Property that doesn't have a title on it will really will be cheap. That you're the same said truth. It will be cheap. Then if the property still have survey and you see something like excision in progress, that property will still be cheap because the excision is still on progress. It's not yet out. It's not yet approved. Then what is even excision in progress? Or what is even excision? You know, every land in Lagos or in Nigeria generally belong to the government. And if a community that originally owned the land wants the land to be officially theirs with a backup document, the community need to apply to the government to give them a document to back it up that land belongs to them, so that they can sell it if they want to sell it. So a community can apply, or a company can buy a property from the original owners, the land owners, and decide to apply for a cession. When you apply for a cession, it pass through process, which you get a cession fine number. Then it takes some time. The government will now, if the property does not have anything to do with the government having interest in that land, then the government will approve it and tell you, okay, this land, I've given you the decision for this land. This land is now so company's land. So the company has approved that this land has been exercised and this land can be given to whoever has bought the property. So that process of getting the land exercised is called excision. And it takes process. It does not happen in one day or few weeks. It takes time. You submit. When you submit, then you'll be given what they call fine number. So that fine number, which can be given to anybody to go and confirm if the land is the process is on. And one thing to understand is this: you having a session fine number does not mean that government will approve it, or does not mean that you'll be given the whole acres of land. Let's say you apply for 10 acres, the government might decide to give you only 5 acres. So a company is telling you that their land has a cession in process or in view, that does not mean that land is free or is free from government taking it. So don't be carried away by when people tell you, give you a fire station number. No, that is not still a guarantee that that property is free. So and that's not a guarantee that the government will give the company the full what they apply for, the full parcel of land. The company might not, the government might not give, might just give them few, not all. So when most company what they do, they will put their decision in progress and they'll put a fine number. It's not totally bad for you to buy property like that. But that will also lead me to the next topic, the next thing I want to talk about, which is the company you are buying from. The company you're buying from play a major role in you buying cheap land. Um, a, a company that doesn't have a track record, that have not proven with time, is not advisable to buy from them. So if a company do not have a track record of they've been able to do things in the past, they have record, they will not just run away with your money. Then if such company is selling cheap land, I would advise don't buy. So, but if when the company have track record of the they've over the years built their momentum, built their trust, and over the years they've applied for land decision to get decision, and government gave them, and they've done that over the years and without any challenge, then it's a good one. Then it's and also you as a person too, you need to also do your own research. Do your research in terms of checking the companies. Don't just don't be carried by what you see on the internet alone. Do your due diligence. Involve a lawyer to help you out in getting the right to dig about the company and to make sure that you don't fall into the wrong hands. So the company you buy from play a major role. Play a major role. So do your due diligence with the company you want to buy from to avoid you falling into wrong hand. So there's a point I want to talk about, which is the last part. When you buy a property, normally you're given contract of sales, and it is important for you to read through the contract of sale before you sign. And there's a clause in the contract of sale called indemnity clause. Most people don't read this particular clause in the contract of sales, but I will advise you from today start reading it. And what most time what is written there is this: in case there's any eventuality, in case there's any problem with the land, what will the company do? Some will tell you they will give you your money back, which is rare, but some will tell you that you'll be relocated to another estate. So our advice, always look out for that indemnity um, clause on your contract of sales, so that you will know whether you are good with their terms and conditions. If anything happened to the property, what would they do? Mostly, most of them usually say they will move it to another estate in case there is court case, or they apply for 100 acre, and they end up giving 50 acre, or they oversold, or some there are so many challenges that can occur. So always look out for that clause, so that clause will help you to safeguard your money, so that you will not end up losing your money because you're trying to buy cheap property. So that is why I'm making reference to that clause on your contract of sales. Try to make sure that you check that in um, indemnity clause in your contract of sale. And with what I've just explained to you now, I believe at least I've given you some insight on things you need to know when it comes to buying cheap property or cheap land in Ibeju-lekki, in Ekpe, or any part of Lagos. Let me just do a recap of what I've shared so far. I make reference to the I make reference to the land in terms of it being underdeveloped or still developing. In that case, if you get a location that is still underdeveloped, you can get cheap property. I make reference to the title also, and I make reference to the title. I also make reference to the section that most times you see cheap property, that which you see a session in progress, or a session in view. So I also explain what the section is all about. Then I make reference to the indemnity clause. Then the company is selling it. The company is selling the property, also good measure rule. So I think that is what
I can help you get a genuine land in Lagos, Nigeria that will appreciate very fast and also prevent you from falling into land scam or land fraud. Contact me now.